Bring the artists, bring the dancers.
Whoa, let's talk with Lakshmi.
Again now.
Whoa, let's talk with Lakshmi. Yeah.
Bring the topics, let we chat now.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk with Lakshmi. Guys, I'm really excited about this week's episode. It is an episode that I'm going to hold near and dear to my heart. We have the dashing, multi-talented, versatile artist Ashton Ramdehal. Ashton comes from a lineage of musicians in his family who have ranged from India to Guyana to right here in the United States of America. He started at the age of 6 singing. He also started writing at the age of 9. Today he's going to talk to us about how he's transitioning from Indian classical music to R&B. Ashton, welcome to Let's Talk with Lakshmi. How are you?
I am excellent. I was doing good, but now I'm doing great now that you...
That is awesome. I am so excited to have you here. I have known you since you're about yay high, and I've watched you grow from a young, budding artist to this dashing gentleman who is a great artist today, and we're just so excited. Now, Ashton, I know that you come from a family of musicians. Tell us a little bit about your background in music.
Well, my great-grandfathers, they came from Bihar, India, and they brought a genre of music called tan singing to Guyana, and that was brought to New York, and that was the inception of the music behind my family. And we were also versatile in Bollywood music and being around family, and you know, my dad had a band with his brothers and my uncles, and being around that through osmosis, I just picked up on all of that, whether it was the tan singing or the Indian music, jazz, a lot of stuff.
Now, I've known your family for years, and I know your grandfather with his musical talent, your dad, your uncles, but you were born here in the United States of America.
Correct.
And how did you come to love this music? I mean, you're growing up here, went to school here, you're born in Jersey City.
Mm-hmm.
Where did this love come from? I mean, rather than just growing up with like hip hop, R&B, American music, where did this love for the Indian cultural music come from?
I mean, I didn't choose to be around it, but I guess being around it so much as a child and then stages of my, adolescent years, that I just became in love with it from being around it so much.
Do you think if you grew up, let's say, in a non-musical family, that you'd be here today?
I don't think so. I don't know everything, to them, but I owe a great part of it to my family, and I thank them, and I'm very grateful.
Who would you accredit your talents to?
I'd say my grandfather for making the decision to leave Guyana. He had 6 kids at the time, and to come to the States, and that way his grandchildren, being me, could have the opportunity to learn about the things I'm learning, and music business and music and different genres of crossover. And so I would owe some of it is to me, but most of it I would give to him, because if it weren't for that, I would not be here sitting with you today.
Now, I know you started singing in mandirs and temples, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were singing in Hindi, but you grew up here in America. Was this odd for you? Did you understand what you were singing?
No, because to me, that's what I was accustomed to as a kid. So if you grow up in, a Spanish household, it's not going to be weird that you start speaking Spanish all of a sudden. So what the weird part was when I started meeting other people and going to school and listening to what these kids listen to. That took a little getting used to. The Indian stuff, not really, because it's my culture. I was immersed in that as a kid.
Okay. Now, Ashton, I know that other than singing at temples, you've performed in different countries, like your father's hometown of Guyana. Mm-hmm. You also perform for weddings, for cultural events, for fundraisers, for birthdays, you name it, you sing there. Where do you find the time? Because you're also very young, right? How are you finding the time to balance your obligation with school, work, and music?
Scheduling, time management. I'm very big on time management and punctuality and these things, and everything in my life, most of it, I schedule it from the time I wake up in the morning. I schedule appointments with myself when I have to do music.
You schedule appointments with yourself? Okay.
In my calendar.
That's awesome.
So for example, if I have to dedicate a certain portion of my time to music a day, I will schedule that with myself. Or if I have to meditate or read or do a show with Lakshmi, everything has to be scheduled.
Make sure that's in there, right? Make sure that's in there. Now, I know that you opened up for Anup Jalota, who's a famous ghazal singer.
Ghazal, bhajan, everything is amazing.
What was that like when you got that phone call? How did that happen? Tell us about that.
My uncle Dharmendra, he ran a music school in Florida, Central Florida, and he brought Anup on the show, and through him I was able to get that opportunity. I was nervous, very nervous, but then I learned through the experience that I was waiting for Anup's approval on whether I could do that or not, and I was thinking to myself, I don't have the training or I don't have the talent, and that's something called deceptive brain messages. When the reality is I did have the talent and I did have enough training to be able to get through that show. And when I learned that Anup was happy with my performance, he gave me positive criticism, but I learned that, I don't need the approval, I need to believe in myself before even Anup Jalota believes in me.
And how did you figure that out? What made you know that you have to believe in yourself? And how did you figure out how to believe in yourself?
I've gone through a lot of personal development. Even at that age, I was 14 at the time, so I surrounded myself with people that were on the same path as I was, read tons of self-help books, movies, The Secret, I'm big on that, and just the law of attraction that, what you think is what you will get if you work towards it.
Now, you also performed with Anuradha Paudwal?
That was amazing.
How was that?
Last year.
Tell us about that.
That was an experience. I sat on the same stage with her. She requested me to sit while she was singing. Amazing experience, humble. Like, it's so amazing that the biggest artists who've been on the biggest stages, we've listened to their songs growing up in our households, and they're just so humble, and then it makes me realize that there's nothing to brag about. We shouldn't be bragging when you meet people of this level. Down to earth, we should all be down to earth. That's the biggest thing I learned from Anuradha.
Now, when you met these artists from India that are famous, and they met you, to know that you're not from India, you're not from Guyana, you were born and raised right in the United States of America. How did they react to you that Hindi is not your first language? I don't even think it's a fluent language for you. I'm sure you know some Hindi, but I'm pretty sure it's not fluent to you. How did they feel when they maybe said something to you in Hindi and maybe you couldn't respond fluently to them? What was their reaction that you did not speak Hindi?
They were interested in it. They were not surprised. Because, Hindi is a language as well, but music is also a language. And we all speak the language of music. So if I'm able to communicate with Anuradha or, anybody else, a soca artist or yourself, on whatever genre of music that is, or just the language of music itself, I think that's where we understand each other.
Awesome. Well, they always say music is the universal language of love. Yep. So, Ashton, we have your very first video that you have done, and we're going to take a look at that. Why don't you introduce this video to us?
Well, Modasaya was not planned at all. I was up at 2 a.m. in the morning with my uncle Surendra, who also produced the song with his company, SIR Entertainment. And we thought, let's cover this song. We both were speaking the same language at the time, and we started recording, and it was recorded, videoed by Vikash Maharaj, and hope you enjoy.
सावन भी तो जाए पहरवा, सावन भी तो जाए पहरवा, मन मेरा घबराए, मन मेरा घबराए, सो गए परदेस पिया तुम, ऐसो गए परदेस पिया तुम, चैन हमें नहीं आए, चैन हमें नहीं आए, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मैं लाख जतन कर हारी, लाख जतन कर हारी, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना। प्यार तुम्हें कितना करते हैं, प्यार तुम्हें कितना करते हैं, तुम ये समझ नहीं पाओगे, तुम ये समझ नहीं पाओगे, जब हम ना होंगे तो पहरवा, जब हम ना होंगे तो पहरवा, बोलो क्या तब आओगे, बोलो क्या तब आओगे, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मैं लाख जतन कर हारी, मैं लाख जतन कर हार रही, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोलना।
Hey guys, welcome back. We are here interviewing the young, the talented, dashing Ashton Ramdehal. We just took a look at that wonderful video, Ashton. You are so talented, I have to tell you.
Thank you.
You know, you're young, you're growing up here in the United States of America, you're singing Hindi in that video. How do people interpret your music videos?
I've gotten great feedback from it. since I started. I've also gotten positive criticism from it, and most of the time I think people interpret it great. They're fans of it, but I always make sure that I enjoy it before anything.
Okay.
If I don't enjoy it, I can't expect other people to.
Of course. If you don't like your work, why would somebody else? So tell me, what is your favorite genre of music?
I don't have one. I have a few favorites. Bollywood, R&B. I love jazz standards, vocal standards. Just to name a few.
So let's talk a little bit about R&B, because I know you have been transitioning a little bit, getting into it. I see the direction of the younger generation kind of taking that, you know, on a serious level, not just the Indian classical music, but they're going into the R&B, because, you know, you guys are growing up in this. This is the way of the world. You have to go with the flow. I've heard some stuff you've done. I've
heard it too.
Dance to it. I jive to it. I love it. I can hear it on FM radio very, very soon.
Awesome.
Tell me, how did you get into R&B?
I was surrounded by R&B music and American music from a child as well, as equally as Indian music. My dad used to have a record player, and he used to play the Beatles and Billy Joel, Frank Sinatra, while I used to sleep, as well as Muhammad Rafi. So I was always around it. I sang in a pop and R&B band when I started college up to today.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Great experience. It's a lot different from what I was used to, because, as you know, in the Mondays we're always used to sitting on the ground with a harmonium and mic stand. So with performing with the band, you have to stand up, you have to interact with the crowd, you have to dance, even though I'm not a great dancer. But you gotta learn. You gotta learn how to interact, you gotta learn how to use a microphone. So it's a lot different, and I think that helped me a lot in all areas of my performance.
Would you say there's a difference between a singer and an entertainer?
Yes, huge difference. A lot of people can entertain and can't sing. A lot of people can sing and can't entertain.
Is it important to do both?
I think it's extremely important to do both, yeah.
What would you say separates someone who is singing as a hobby and someone who actually gets onto, let's say, venues or on the radio and takes their singing to another level, takes it to a level of a career, making money out of it?
Well, it's like anything in life. Whatever you put in is what you get. If you put in 1 hour a day for music, you're gonna get 1 hour a day results. If you put in 5 hours a day, you're gonna get 5 hours a day results. So I think the one thing that separates everything is hard work, because the talent can be there. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
With that being said, how much time do you put into practicing?
I do about 2 hours a day with my schedule, which I schedule in my schedule.
Tell me a little bit about your musical training, like your gurus.
My gurus are Kinnar Payal Seen. I owe a lot to them. And my dad and his brothers, they did not have the opportunity to learn music from a teacher. Everything was picked up by listening to records, which is amazing. Yeah. But my dad said, you know, we're here. We might as well take advantage of what we have here. So I learned Indian classical music from the Seen family. I've learned Western classical and opera from Bill Riley. He's coached people like Celine Dion, Usher. So I think the main thing is that our forefathers did what they had to do to come to this country. So thanks to my dad and his father and so on, I get to experience these things, and I'm glad and grateful.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Ashton?
I see myself doing music a lot more than I've ever done, because I want to set up multiple streams of income for myself, a business, and put it on remote control, to say that, so I can have time to do my music.
Awesome. Now we're seeing a lot of collaborations in the musical world. We're seeing collaborations with soca reggae, chutney soca. Are we going to see Indian and R&B?
Yes. Yes, you will. I'm also doing soca and R&B, chutney and R&B right now with two big artists. I'm working with KI and I'm also working with Cass.
Ooh,
So
sounds
stay tuned for that.
really, really big.
So the thing is, everybody, as time goes on, music changes, everything evolves. So everybody else is getting on the wave as well. So it's going to be a team effort, and I'm looking forward to it myself.
Ashton, if you were not singing, what do you think you'd be doing?
I think I'd be finding ways to make money work for me. That's like another passion and hobby that I have when I'm not doing music is how can I bring passive income in? And even up to this morning and last night, I'm always like online learning different things, whether it's like selling ebooks on Amazon, real estate, stocks, trading, or Forex trading, all of that stuff I'm very, very immersed in these days.
Do you have a life coach?
I do.
You do?
I do.
How important do you think it is to have a life coach?
I think it's extremely important because sometimes we don't hold ourselves as accountable as we need to. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have somebody else, and it's also good to have other advice.
Speaking of advice, what would you tell youngsters that want to become a star? What advice would you give them?
It sounds cliche, but work hard. Because like I said, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. Schedule it in your schedule every single day. You know, we all have 24 hours a day. Oprah has 24 hours a day. Obama has 24 hours a day, you have 24 hours a day, and I have 24 hours a day. So we have enough time to dedicate to our passion. And if we don't, then I don't think it's meant to be a passion. I think we should all be working as hard as we can towards it.
All right, so take advantage of every second, every minute, every hour in 24 hours. So Ashton, we have another video of you here. We have a video where you are singing Indian and R&B. So you are making your dreams come true. We're gonna take a look at this video. When we come back, we're gonna have Ashton sing live for you.
I just want you close, where you can stay forever. You can be sure that it will only get better. You and me together through the days and nights. I don't worry, 'cause everything's gonna be alright. People keep talking, they can say what they like, but all I know is that everything's gonna be alright. No one can get in the way of what I'm feeling. No one can get in the way of what I feel for you. इश्क बिना क्या मरना यारा, इश्क बिना क्या जीना, इश्क बिना क्या मरना यारा, इश्क बिना क्या जीना। गुड़ से मिठा इमली से खट्टा, वादा है पक्का, धागा है कच्चा। गुड़ से मिठा इमली से खट्टा, वादा है पक्का, धागा है कच्चा। search the world to find something like what we have. I know people will try to divide something so real. So till the end of time, I'm telling you, there is no one.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk with Lakshmi. As promised, we have Ashton Ramdehal on set, all ready to serenade for me and for you. He's going to be singing All Begins With You. This is an original composition by Ashton Ramdehal. Enjoy.
So the background of this song is I'm a huge believer in the law of attraction, and that everything that we complain about that we can't have in our lives, whether it's money or a nice house or to follow your dreams, you know, it's all in front of us if we look to find it. Okay. You know, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, law of intent, law of karma. So this song is explaining that, and that you can literally have anything that you want in life.
Awesome.
Every day we often wonder why it's so hard for us to be free. And it don't do us any justice, consumed by hours of reality TV. Where is your motivation and your path onto salvation? Yeah, are you gonna wake up and follow your goals, or question why you didn't follow your heart and soul? This choice is yours. It's time to fly. Stop wasting all this time. You know how far that you can go. Baby, everybody knows the only limit is the sky. If you just open up your eyes, you will see that it's easy. But it all begins with you. Yeah, it all begins with you. Yeah, it all begins with you. Oh, it all begins with you. Oh. What do we really want in this life? What's the point of living if you're gonna live a life that's black and white? Yeah, nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna happen if you don't get up and lift up and pick up yourself. Decide to take action, yeah. Let me be your inspiration. Stop being so complacent, yeah. Are you gonna wake up and capitalize? Are you gonna let another day go by? You decide. It's time to fly. Stop wasting all this time. You know how far that you can go. Baby, everybody knows the only limit is the sky. If you just open up your eyes, you will see that it's easy. But it all begins with you. Yeah, it all begins with you. Yeah, it all begins with you. Oh, yeah, it all begins with you. 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 Yeah, it all begins